welcome to this webinar, the last one of our series on emergency communication reforms. I'm Taviana Caminiti, Events Manager at EENA. I will be the moderators of today. And I see that it's 3 p.m. So I propose to officially start this last webinar before the summer break. So thanks everyone for joining today. This is, as I said, the last webinar of our European tour on emergency communications reforms. Today we will focus on the plans, the projects, reforms that are taking place in Slovenia to improve emergency response. As you know, from February, we had the chance to hear about Romania, Bulgaria, France, the Netherlands, Portugal, and Sweden. We could notice that emergency services are facing a large variety of challenges. And it has been with great satisfaction that we heard about the continued improvements and adaptations carried out in the sector in every country. So as I said, I will be the moderator of today, and along with my colleague Jerome Parry, he will be moderating the question and answer panel that will take place at the end of the presentations of our presenter of today. Before I introduce our speaker of today, I would like just to go through some practicalities. As you know, this webinar is recorded, and from tomorrow afternoon, you can find the recording and the presentation of today on our website and also on the YouTube channel of EENA. Also, feel free to ask your question to our presenter of today through the chat window that you can find on the dashboard on the right side of the screen. The questions are anonymous, so we will just pick some of them and tell them loudly to our speaker of today. If for a time constraint we cannot answer all of them, we kindly ask you to contact our speaker of today by email. Their contact details are on the final slide of their presentation. So now it's time for me to introduce you our speaker of today that we have the pleasure to have with us today. His name is Grigory Krupenko, 112 advisor from the Administration for Civil Protection and Disaster Relief in Slovenia. He will guide us today through their ongoing and upcoming reforms and projects for the emergency services improvements in Slovenia. Grigory is a 112 application development consultant. He has been working in the field of civil protection and disaster relief and European number 112 since 2004. He works on the 112 improvements and implementation of new techniques and processes, and he is responsible for all the used applications in the 13 PSAPs in Slovenia. So I think it's time for me now to give the floor to Grigory, and I will give you now the presenter mode.
Okay, thank you for the nice introduction and presentation. I want to wish a warm welcome to everyone with us today. Today I'm going to present you a short briefing about our 112 system in Slovenia, and I have divided this presentation into 4 main parts. In the first one, I will touch upon general information about public safety answering points in Slovenia and some other basic information about our system. I will also describe the communication between the caller on 112 and the operator with the procedure to activate or notify different units that follow. In the second part, I will introduce you to our monitoring system for the quality of service called StatClits. In the third part, we will touch on the working environment of operators and make a short overview of applications in 2010. We will also look at the development achievements so far. Lastly, I will present our goals for the near future. On the last slide, I wrote some thought-provoking facts to encourage you to consider that we can solve some of our problems only together. The presentation should be about 45 minutes long. I'm aware that the schemes in the presentation are very complex, so I will be happy if you ask a question after the presentation, because it is difficult to describe in such a short time what and how we have developed the system and what awaits us in the near future. So let's get started with the first part. Slovenia is one of the smaller European countries, but only in terms of size. Not only can we brag about globally known athletes like Luka Doncic in NBA Basketball League, Primož Roglič in cycling, Tina Trstenjak in judo, we can also brag about the man in the field of emergency 112 in Slovenia, Boštjan Tavčar. He has been leading this field since 1994 and makes sure that we introduced the 112 number in Slovenia as the second country in Europe in 1997. The territory of Slovenia is divided into 13 areas, covering a total of 212 municipalities. That accounts for almost 2.2 million people living in Slovenia. The data on the number of inhabitants is calculated according to the temporarily registered residents. On the slide, we can see the data on emergency calls by regions. Which do not say much, but it's certainly interesting to note that in Maribor on 19th of August 2016, the highest number of calls in 1 hour was recorded, namely 1,054, which is unimaginable compared to the average of 10 calls per compared hour in PSAP Maribor. A daily record numbered in calls on 112 in Slovenia was recorded on the 2nd of February 2014 when we were hit by sleet. We have 9,538 calls that day. For comparison, let us say that yesterday we received only 1,650 calls. We have all kinds of natural and other disasters with an exception of volcanic eruptions. As a result, we receive over 500,000 calls to 112. Most of the time, people call for medic help and in event of natural and other disasters. Police and the number of calls to 113 is a separate union and is not accounted for in this data. Whether the number of 13 centers is too large concerning the surface of Slovenia is more a political question and will probably be a topic for the future. On ENA website, we have published the mode of operation of public safety answering points, which is slightly different from the actual situation. The role of 13 PSAPs in Slovenia is not only to transfer calls from the first level to the second. This only applies to events handled by the police. For health-related events, PSAPs arranges data entry and redirects that call to the appropriate first aid service. In the event of traffic accidents and accidents with hazardous substances, PSAPs transports call to the appropriate fire dispatch service. For all other events, PSAP enters data and activates and notifies units in the protection and rescue system in accordance with the action plans. Perhaps it's the best to explain the operations with the module on the slide. In Slovenia, we have 4 telecommunication companies who provide us 112 calls through the state operator Telekom Slovenia. Our notification center can receive both voice calls and associated data such as caller location, AML, SMS, e-call. After receiving an emergency call, the operator in PSAP records the necessary information, and if the emergency call are for healthy care, the police or professional firefighters, the operator from PSAP transfers the call to them into the appropriate dispatch center. The interdata are located in so-called data pool. Data pool is like our internal cloud, whose data is available to any rightfully approved individuals. But all units in the protection and rescue system and all maintenance services don't have their own dispatch. So for approximately around 200 events, PSAP activates and informs the relevant authorities following municipal plans. In addition to activation itself, PSAPs provide the unit leader in the field with all the necessary information and offer support by activating other units with different types of operations, like helicopter assistance or mountain rescue team if it is necessary. Since 2005, regardless of the type of event or accident, we have ensured that all events are publicly available. At the time of the report event, we published it as unverified information, and after the unit completion of reporting, we publish it more detailed data. We consider the transparency of our work to be very important, which is why in 2010 we started publishing data on the quality of service. The statistics show that we are doing well since the response time has been slightly lower each year. Based on the data from 2013, our PSAP center that is located in Ljubljana has answered 40% of all calls in 6.82 seconds, and last year just in 5.38 seconds. I must point out that our quality of service monitoring for 112 calls response is set to calculate for 90% of all calls and not just an average of 50%. In 2010, we started introducing the service. We recorded only a few parameters, but today on the page StatClits sos112.si, we are publishing current call details, incoming calls with 7 different reports, outgoing calls with 3 different reports, quality of service reports, e-call reports, AML reports, reports on SMS 112 messages, and reports on triggered pager messages, with which the vast majority of units are still activated. All data are prepared for every PSAP and period. The setup call monitoring system also enables the prediction and planning of the required number of operators in PSAPs according to various input data. All type data are accessible for the public. It is also possible to export data by year, so everyone could make reports on his own. I would like to briefly describe the dispatcher's job to you, as this is the key to understanding the following slides. In each of the 13 PSAPs in Slovenia, they have 3 workstations, which are composed according to the presented scheme. On the top left line, we have the 3GIS application. In PSAPs, it is primarily used to visualize the caller's location. We started introducing 3GIS as early 2009. It is necessary to know that in Slovenia, 1.3 million people, which accounts for 65% of the country's population, live in the mountain areas, while in European Union average is between 18 and 22%. Any area with more than 700 meters above sea level is considered to be a mountain world. The advantages of the 3G visualization are mainly an easier representation of the caller location and easier targeting of units, especially during search campaigns. As I mentioned, each municipality has its action and activation plans for the units. There are about 1,600 units in total. Each unit operates in a specific area, so we have layers in the GIS for each type of unit, like firefighters, mountain rescue service, etc. All layers together with the layers of economic infrastructure, which include water supply networks, electrical networks, gas pipelines, heating pipelines, and other various bases with different maps attached to the relief surface, reach the number over 200. In the middle upper part, we have an application called WebPLK, which is a web application installed in each PSAP. The application has so far enabled independent operation, even in the event of a network failure. The application allows you to view call statuses, such as the method of receiving a call, that can be a spoken call, e-call, SMS, type of call transfer, for example, police, healthcare, firefighters, or type of call like landline, mobile, AML, and listening to the call during the operation shift, also recording the content of the application, direct activation of units and persons, and the system for implementing action algorithms prescribed by mayors. In the vast majority of cases in Slovenia, each of 220 mayors has its way how to regulate action in the event of natural and other disasters. As a result, all the plans that PSAPs must follow are very different. WebPLK is and it will remain the central dispatcher job application in PSAP. It currently exchanges data with 3GIS, SPIN, and telephone dispatcher. The application is already ready to include next-generation 112 services such as next-generation video calls. WebPLK is built modularly, and all incoming calls, regardless of whether it is a voice call, e-call, video call, SMS message on 112, handles the same way. The third application in the top row is SPIN, which was set up in 2005 as an online application for reporting interventions and accidents. Over time, we have brought it a little closer to the WebPLK system, so today it allows us to review the operation of units from activation to completion, with all reports and publish statistics on the operation of units as well as events. A part of the SPIN application, ESPN, was also developed. It allows units in the field to navigate and synchronize data to the location of events. I'm most proud of the developed module for the operation of staff in the event of major natural disasters, which provides them support in development of units, reporting on the activities of units and damage caused and eliminated consequences. In addition to the radio and station and telephone in the lower left corner, there is a telephone dispatch application that currently still provides us with direct connections with some healthcare services, the police, and professional firefighters. Each PSAP has all the necessary call numbers stored in the telephone dispatch database, depending on the location and type of event. The app at the bottom right is a radio dispatch app for radio communication with units in the field. Between 2005 and 2008, we wanted to buy a system to help operators in PSAP with calls handling, but we encountered countless obstacles. First and foremost, it was small size of Slovenia with the traditional way of dealing with natural and other disasters and the legislation itself. So we were looking for an application or provider that could adapt a newer system fitting our requirements, and the Slovenian environmental situation. Fortunately, we did not find such software and hardware companies. Therefore, we decided to set up the system ourselves with the help of external contractors. The work of the operators in PSAP was divided into 3 parts. Geographic Information System, GIS, which is provided to us by the development and maintenance of company XLab, a telecommunication system, PLK, which is provided to us by the company IPCOM through development and maintenance and reporting on the operation of units and events, SPIN, which is provided to us by the development and maintenance of company logos. Having in mind the rapid evolution of communication services, along with the growing number of demands of customization due to different work processes, we developed the most modern call taking and dispatching communication center solution, 112 Quark, which is placed in the middle of the circle. Quark was designed specially for critical use cases which are subject to the public protection and disaster relief authorities. Quark system offers a unique product solution that is designed to enable citizens to reach 112 authority by using a legacy system based on voice call, SMS, as well as next generation communication systems such as voice over IP, video, and eCall. In the middle, we have a common database called PODZIR, based on the person function in each unit. Personal data like address, telephone numbers, and personal paging numbers are entered in the database. PODZIR also provides us with calls, phone, and paging numbers for units. The database provides all information to GIS system in such a way that the key layers of the GIS system are paired with PODZIR data. It provides the SPIN system with basic data on units and PLK system with all data for activation and acknowledgement of the relevant entities under municipal and other plans, including the preparation of action algorithms. Looking back to 2010, the decision of outsourcing feels like the right decision. Our main weakness has proven to be our biggest advantage, as we can respond to any new matters very quickly. The diagram depicts operations in PSAP. In 2010, PSAP already had the option of receiving text messages via WAP protocol. The users of the application were mostly deaf and hearing impaired people. The transfer protocol used was WAP. Using the WAP 1.2 application, users were able to provide the location and write a text message. In 2009, this was an advanced application for which Administration for Civil Protection and Disaster Relief and author of application Boštjan Tavčar received the EENA award. We have already used FreeGIS to display the caller's location in 2010, and due to inaccurate location display, we started thinking about Smart Locator application. In 2010, with the help of the WebPLK application, we just monitored and forwarded calls to the appropriate units. Compared to the previous slide, which represented the situation in 2010, this slide shows the current year situation. Progress can already be seen in the reception of calls in PSAP, where we replaced WAP 112 with SMS 112 and brought eCall and next generation video. As a system, 112 Quark has been in operational usage for many years as a central 112 management system, evolving from a basic call-taking console up to a full-scale communication center, which now connects local call takers and dispatchers into national-wide operational center. 112 Quark achieves this by providing seamless voice and data experience for different regions, services, and organizations like emergency units, firefighters, police, intervention headquarters, etc. In critical environment where every second counts, the solution that offers interoperability between emergency services and providing both voice and data information exchange has at most importance in supporting the incident role. By providing software modularity, the highest level of adaptability, open standard approach, and architecture flexibility, which is distributed in cloud-based architecture, together with agnostic OS client installation. Quark as a call-taking and dispatching system has already been set as a new generation 112 system. In addition to the 112 Quark system and the PodZer database, we have added the option of using the monolith search engine for all applications, which allows PSAP operators to search for location according to the caller description when the exact location cannot be obtained at the time of the call. Significant improvement is also seen with data transferring, since all the collected data is already uploaded in the cloud. This allows faster availability of information for health and fire departments. Police, however, is on slight still colored red as testing is still in progress. We anticipate that the cloud will remain useful even after the transition of SIP protocol. Since we are already familiar with the way how to provide data, we could use the collected data as a source of information for smart cities and also as an intermediary point to access to the caller's data. Further, I would like to introduce you to other upgrades that have been building from 2010 until today. In 2015, we upgraded our GIS system with accurate data on roads and road connections. It helps us to calculate the exact individual's location and at any given moment. Further, it is also used for navigation in the ESPN application, which helps us to attain information on units location. As a result, towards the end of the year, we will be able to visualize unit location data in free GIS application even more accurately. As I have already mentioned, that each municipality has its action plans for each type of event. We've solved the problem of a large number of units and in diverse plans with the possibility of creating our geographic layers. The GIS module allows us to connect an individual area of operation of the unit with the data from the PodZer database. Just after a few more mouse clicks, the Republic application can already obtain the appropriate unit for activation according to the selected location of the event. In general, GIS is used to present events to the public on an ongoing basis and also for operators to display the accuracy of the caller's acquired location. I should not forget to mention that the Smart Locator module, for which we received ENA Award in 2014, the module enables sending a SMS containing a message with a link. The link allows the user to obtain the location, and sending back message is initiated if the caller agrees. The Republic application, as well as all other applications in the scheme, are upgraded annually. Sometimes those are just small visual fixations, but in most cases the applications are upgraded with new modules, like a module for receiving SMS data on 112, eCall, video conference. For more optimal work of operations in PSAP, we make sure that our upgrades do not change the basis of the work. They are merely upgrades of the already existing system. In the presentation, I have already mentioned an application for statistics that monitors the quality of service. I must also mention the development of the SPIN application, which since 2005 has enabled us to collect data on activated units and events in Slovenia. With minor corrections, we have achieved that major accidents are regularly posted on social networks such as Facebook. This year, we are planning for two big changes with the SPIN application. The first one is to renovate the 15 years old way of presenting statistical data on unit interventions and events. The renovation is underway by the Website Accessibility Act and will be available to the public towards the end of the year. Secondly, we will create a direct connection for all municipalities to access the PODZIR database. I believe that the timeline of the data in the database will be significantly improved as the current updating of data is tied to the paper notification of changes. We will also provide municipalities with some other functionalities that will speed up their activities as well. If we try to conclude, all the pieces of the puzzle are built around the WebPLK application, which speaks to its importance. We achieved this with the modular approach, which we designed back in 2010 under the name 112 Quark. Like I mentioned before, WebPLK is the main application in PSAPs for call handling. It is also a solution for writing data to our administration for serial protection cloud, which we use as a data source for medic and firefighters. This year, we will expand the solution for the police, with which we'll be able to access the data and our mutual communication will be optimized. This year, we will also adjust the content of the phone dispatch interface for receiving SIP phone calls. We decided that the application should remain as robust as possible and as independent of the operating system as possible. It must provide connectivity with the SIP protocol and include basic user functionalities. Unit location monitoring has so far not been the task of the PSAP, but the data of activated vehicles have proven to be desirable. Search and rescue unit, as well as medical units, use devices with GPS so we can get their intermediate location. An expected upgrade that we look forward to is the ability of our GIS system to share all collected data with all units in real time during emergencies. In the year 2019, we started with adjusting the WebPLK application GUI for next generation 112 upgrades such as PMEA network. This year, we are going to step further as we have agreed with our largest mobile operator to set up a PMEA network access point. Consequently, we are planning to publish an application that will allow deaf and hearing impaired people to communicate with their sign language. As you know, Slovenia is the first country which puts sign language in the constitution. In Slovenia, we have a numerous and very well organized network of voluntary firefighters. They are involved in resolving events related to natural and other disasters, especially on a local community level. Natural disasters require a huge engagement of unit for help and at any given time. Last year, we established a control solution at the state level, which allows civil protection headquarters on the municipality level the possibility for deploying and directing individual units to exact rescue location. This year, we will upgrade their ESPN tablet app, through which we will be able to receive data from all locations in an easier way. Upgrading the ESPN application is not the only upgrade in this area. We want municipalities to have the possibility of direct enrollment and data about competent authorities and people authorized to receive information at the municipal level into our database PODZIR. So this year we will allow municipalities to change procedures from sending the paper intervention of the competent persons and verification of action plans for individual events into digitalized shape. Some EU countries already established a public alarming and notifying platform. We are still in the tender phase. Since 112 Quark already takes care of connectivity of various applications and systems, I believe the next step of our open interfaces should have zero problems being implemented and functionally integrated. We are planning full integration and connection with mobile phone operators for the next year, 2022. In the year 2023, we are planning a complete transition to the C protocol, which will make it easier to manage some services, especially with location of the caller and the transfer of other data. The year 2023 will be a time of other major changes, as it's planned to move our largest PSAP center Ljubljana to another location. It will most likely be related to a substantive change in the way we work, but more of that in another presentation. We have come to the end of my presentation, so I have gathered some provocative facts and questions that I think are not so easy, or at least quickly to solve. So far, I mentioned quite a few upcoming changes. My main goal in application development is to shorten and response time and to simplify any optimize the work in PSAP. But let's take a look at some facts. I haven't yet described why the operator's response in PSAP is so important. I read that every minute of cardiac arrest that passes without CPR resuscitation and defibrillation reduces the chance of survival by 7 to 10%. For events with fire, the situation is even more critical since the volume of the fire doubles every 30 to 60 seconds. In today's day and age, smartphones are most convenient tool for reporting an event of accident. Smartphone is now 1,000 times more powerful than the best computers 15 years ago. Yet phones are, especially with younger generations, used for less critical situations like posting pictures and on Instagram. And what have we done so far to take advantage of very useful gadget? Only a handful of 112 apps existed in 2015, but I think that we are now in a boom period with the upcoming 5G technology. Every time I'm horrified when a 112 call comes in PSAP with a location in a radius of 500 meters and more. AML in Slovenia is not yet working as we would like. Location information, if any, is due to various technologies used to transmit voice and data and ranges from a few seconds to almost a minute delay. During the time, however, an experienced PSAP operator can already obtain a location accurately enough, even if a caller is in a forest or in the hills. But the solution we are introducing in Slovenia this year is the 112 application, which will operate in PMEA network. Once established, we plan to preload the application on all mobile phones sold by mobile operators. However, I'm afraid that something like this will require a change in the legislation, which all know will take some time. If we check online stores, we will find quite a few 112 apps that already exist. But do we know which app is right? If you ask me, the answer is no. This year we are planning to launch our new PEMEA app. We are also planning an advertising campaign in which we will introduce the deaf and hearing impaired people. In addition to the operation of the video conference, which will include a sign language interpreter in addition to caller and the operator in PSAP. We will also show the entire process of how to find and install the application. When apps are in the store, I have noticed a few times that the app, even if it says that it's 112 on the app logo, that app doesn't work. The message, unfortunately, app has stopped, sometimes pop up. Do we know which app we can trust? I'm afraid my answer is no again. What I think needs to be done is that a certificate must be obtained for all applications with name 112. The application should also be described in regulations at the level of countries, if not in the European Union. Once we will solve the problem with the app, however, I'm afraid we will run into another big problem, and that's the users. We have apps installed on the smartphones that we have never used before. I see the same problem with 112 apps, which I wish we would never need, but you never know. Our plan for the upcoming app will also be dedicated to other things, and calling 112 will only be part of the app that is used multiple times. It will work in the PEMEA network, and when all PSAP connects to the network, there will be no more problem outside our borders. For 112 calls intended for medics, the caller's prior health is also important for prompt and correct intervention, mostly touching upon the fact that where the caller is diabetic or allergic to penicillin, etc. There is more and more talk in Europe about the protection and personal data, so it's very important how it is managed. I think there should be a regulation for 112 applications that would prescribe a minimum set of data. We should also have a single mechanism for accessing data at the EU level. Today, smartphones have built-in various functions, so optimize the performance of the phone itself, but can artificial intelligence differentiate between the 112 application and others and not delete 112 app after long unuse? I also think that not. Those were just a few points to keep in mind for the future. I hope that the presentation outlined the operations of 112 in Slovenia and presented our development of reforms in this area. In our work, we encounter fewer and fewer technical problems, but more and more content problems. That is why I think that EENA initiative to present reforms is also ideal in terms of raising awareness among ourselves. We have already done a lot, but there is still a lot that can be improved. Thank you for listening. I believe you have quite a few questions that I will probably not be able to answer right away, so I'm asking you if you can send the questions to the mentioned mailing addresses on this last slide. Boštjan is not available today, for which he certainly apologizes, but I'm very sure that he will answer your question as soon as possible. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Gregory. Can you hear me well?
Yes, I hear you.
Okay, Jerome Parry speaking. So I will be moderating the question and answer time now. So as you could imagine we have received quite many questions. I'll try to pass them to you as clearly as possible. And of course, if you cannot answer, as you have just said, people will be asked to send you an email to follow up. So the first question is about actually public warning systems. So it's someone saying, regarding the reforms in Slovenia, the Ministry of Defense launched an RFP, request for proposal, a few months ago for the establishment of a platform to alert the population in case of an emergency through the mobile network via SMS or cell broadcast in accordance with EU regulation. This RFP apparently does not involve mobile network operators. What is the expected timeline for MNOs to implement their part of this solution?
I'm sorry, I didn't get all the. Can you send me the right text?
So basically, they are asking if mobile network operators for public warning systems will be involved in the work that is being done to implement public warning in Slovenia.
I don't cover this this field because we are still in a phase of tender, so I don't cover this, and it will be easier that answer that in a paper way.
Okay, so this person is invited then to send you an email or to you and Bostian. Then okay,
yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Then there is something about NG112. It's someone asking how the NG112 app will improve the color location. I'm not sure of what they mean by NG112 app.
Maybe equal ESPN. I mentioned that ESPN is for units, and this year we are upgrading our system with GIS system with so the application will be connected one to another, and it is also possible to connect to our GIS module any GPS system, but that's for the next year if we found things usable. But from this year we are planning just to import the data from ESPN.
Okay, I got actually some precision in the chat. So apparently this question was about the mobile app that you have implemented. So does it help to get color location when someone is calling you with this app? Does it help to get the color location?
Yeah, I think I mentioned about PMEA app. That's certainly true because the PMEA app will find the location itself before the call will be made.
Okay, thank you. And then still in relation to location, I think you have advanced mobile location in Slovenia. The question is about the extension of AML to roamers traveling in Slovenia. Will you do you plan to extend this to roamers?
Yes, we already, Mr. Taucher already talked to one of how can I say the people who sell this thing in Denmark and another country. We also talk to them to how to solve, and our mobile operators they are in contact. So I think yes, the answer is yes. We will.
Thank you.
We will manage this thing.
Then I have another question about critical communications. Someone asking if you are using Tetra network and if there is any interaction between people using Tetra network and the control room, the 112 control room.
No, the Tetra is using by police. We are using DMR, digital mobile radio, and we don't use Tetra because we don't cover police work.
Okay, thank you. Then we have something about the use of social media, social networks to interact with the public. Do you use such networks to publish key event information? Are you monitoring social media to retrieve actionable information?
No. We just make a system for the more important things or events, and we just publish them on Facebook. Nothing other. We cannot do anything else.
Okay, and then maybe something related to that. So someone says that you mentioned that call and data input can be received. Which data sources do you use for detecting incident in addition to calls? So for instance, I believe you receive data from when you receive e-call from cars, you receive also data from the car, like GPS information and all the MSD. But do you also receive data from other sources? So we mentioned social media. Apparently, you don't do it. But anything else that you may get? Any sources that you may use to receive data on incidents happening?
Now, not yet. This year we will apply PEMEA app, so everything which goes with PEMEA will be included. And also we are planning to, with that app, that we can get a video call. And we are also in conversation for receiving how can I say? Marko, ko se reče ti sensors? Data of sensors will be checked in our PSAPs, but not today. Just this year, I hope, or next year. It depends on operators' conversation or such pogodbo or the operator's contract. If we manage to do that.
Okay, excellent. So Grigory, I think it was the last question. So if I don't receive any in the chat, then I think I will give the floor back to Taviana. Oh, wait, I have one. Okay, someone asking if you are participating in any EU-funded project.
I don't. No, we try to, but we didn't get. We didn't get. I don't know how do you say. We didn't manage to prijaviti se, Marko, kako se reče? We cannot attend. We didn't get
You didn't get selected by the commission, I believe. You submitted a proposal and you didn't get selected.
But this is just me. I think that Boštjan, I don't know what Boštjan are involved, because his area is much bigger than mine. I'm just a developer of applications, so I'm not involved in other things.
Okay, you are not aware of any projects in which your organization could be involved? No?
Yes.
Thanks. Okay. Yes. Okay, so Gregory, thank you very much and for all your answers. Again, if anyone wants to ask you a few additional questions, you have on the screen actually Gregory's email as well as Boštjan email. So feel free to reach out to them. And now I give the floor back to Taviana for a few additional remarks, I believe. Thank you.
Thank you, Jerome.
Yes, thanks, Jerome, for managing this Q&A panel. Thanks, Gregory, for this informative presentation. So it's time for us now to close up this series on the European communications reforms for European countries. So I will just now go through some practicalities. As I told earlier in the introduction, the recording of today will be available from tomorrow afternoon on our webinar page and on the YouTube channel of EENA. As well as all the past webinars about the communication reforms about the countries that we had the opportunity to explore since last February. So you can relieve the webinars, the recordings, the presentations, all the material presented during these webinars is available on our webinar section. So feel free to watch this space. If you have any questions, suggestion concerning the running of these webinars, feel free to contact me. You can also keep contacting our speakers. Their contact details are in the final slides of every presentation. So feel free to contact them for more clarification and questions. And I would like also just to take the opportunity to announce you that tomorrow we are opening the registrations of the EENA conference that will take place in Riga, in Latvia, in October. We will also publish for the first time the provisional program. So you are all invited to go through all this, and we are really looking to meeting you all in Riga very soon in person. And it will be the final word from my side. Thanks everyone for joining this webinar and this series. We hope you learned a lot. It was with great satisfaction that we could see that there is a lot of improvements, plans in the pipeline to improve emergency response and to make our life safer. So thanks everyone, thanks to all the speakers for your engagement and efforts to improve emergency response. And before the summer break, I mean, I just wish you a nice holidays. And we remain at your disposal for any questions you might have on the EENA activities. So stay safe, everyone. Have a nice and safe summer. And we look forward to meeting you very soon. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Thank you very much.